Hi everyone, it's Emma again. It's a new video. Sorry for the delay. I'm just a busy bee. And this is a video about French for English speakers, not necessarily native English speakers, but for any kind of people, any kind of individual who can potentially speak English and understand English. So French is not a hard language, seriously, compared to Japanese, Chinese, or Russian. It's not a complex language. You've got to understand some basic formulas in order to apply them. The most difficult part will be, well, for people who have memorization issues, to find a way for them to learn without being forced to do so, like a natural way, a fun way, and the conjugation. The grammar is not difficult. It's not difficult. It's just conjugation. You have a lot of irregular verbs and irregularities, so it may not be easy to understand the different things. So the thing is, French is not difficult. If you start with the idea French is a difficult language, you may have some difficulties here. So what I want to emphasize, you have a book here, okay? It's called French for Beginners, okay? I have a lot of textbooks, workbooks in my, I don't know what is this book, French Foundation. There is also Michel Thomas. Michel Thomas is it's an okay method, but I'm not pleased because there are some mistakes, many mistakes. I like this, it's you have like a lot of stuff, but the problem is you have to memorize the vocabulary. Otherwise, you are just like, okay, I move on to the next lesson, but I don't remember a word of what I just studied. Okay, so this is based on a traditional method learning, memorization, end of the story. Okay. Grammar is always a big, scary thing for a lot of students, but don't limit yourself, because if you limit yourself, you're gonna just be like, okay, well, I can't do that, and I don't feel motivated. Well, a language is like that. You've got to learn some stuff, but they are tricks, okay? You can trick your brain, you can trick your motivation, if you're lazy and you don't feel like learning anymore, there are ways to do so. So how do we do that? Well, we interact with people. Okay, so you have two kinds of people. When they start learning English, they just hide. The first group will probably hide behind the textbook. Okay, so they can do the exercises. They feel like it's fun. They can understand the logic, but they cannot practice. They cannot speak. So they are just like hiding behind a veil of contentment, and they feel like great. They understand French, but they cannot speak. The whole point of a language is to speak it, okay, to interact with other people, to understand what they say, they understand what you say, and if they don't feel frustrated. So you have a lot of students, they feel they have a high sense of perfection, and if they make one tiny mistake, that's the end of the world. Well, too bad for you. You're going to have to make a lot of mistakes in order to perfect, your language skills. That's just the way it is. It's better to do it now than dwelling on this aspect and being afraid and scared and feel like, no, I'm a perfect person, I cannot make mistakes. Well, it's part of the deal, You're going to have to make mistakes in order to learn, So it's fine. I'm more into a natural method than a strict method, because I know I come from, I went to France. I know French schools are not good with languages. French in general, I'm generalizing. There are some exceptions, but French in general are very bad with languages. And when they start speaking, it's a catastrophe. So you've got to be to be a little bit more flexible with the method. So what I'm showing is a bunch of books. You can also, for advanced students, you can also learn through reading, but the problem is you don't know how to express a lot of stuff. So a method like that, reading the newspaper every day, can help you to develop your vocabulary your comprehension skills, but on the other hand, you may not know how to pronounce the words. So that's another problem. There is also Le Parisien. I don't like this newspaper. It's a bit tabloid. It's from February, I guess. She has a weird face, this one. Anyway, so it's one way. You can also check the ads, stuff like that, and see some words you may not understand what they are trying to promote. This is an ugly car. This is an ugly car. I don't understand why they are so proud of showing something like that. This is so ugly. Anyway, so different ways, different things, different techniques, and but I'm not a. I use textbooks definitely, but I also like to combine with this method. The French Thomas method. This guy is not a pure French. Well, he's not a French native speaker. He's from Poland. And during the Second World War, he had to learn a lot of. He went to a German school. He studied in Poland. He was a spy. He had, according to his story, he had to learn a lot of languages very quickly to not being caught by the Germans. And so you have the stress, and you have to do a good job. So his method, he's using the same method over and over again to teach, let's say, Italian, Chinese, Japanese. I didn't try his Chinese methods. I don't think that's him. I think he has some partners doing this job for him. But I think you can hear his voice for the German method, Italian, Spanish, French, English, and I don't know the rest, but I know he has a lot of methods out there. And there is another one, I don't have it here, it's Paul Noble, and he's using a similar method. It's more like natural, and you build sentences over the time, and the way you memorize is not forced, it's more relaxed, and you memorize easily. As long as you start putting some stress on something, I know this is the European method and the traditional method. You have to force your brain to learn and repeat and repeat and learn and repeat. Yeah, but guess what? In the long run, the long-term memory may just dissipate this kind of information. You force your brain to learn, and you may not keep it in mind for a long time. So, may as well find a relaxing way to learn, absorb the information very easily with positivity, in order to keep this information for a long run. But how do you do that? Well, you use emotions, you use feelings, you use visuals, okay? If people are highly visuals, you have to use a lot of images, but it's not enough. You need to incorporate, to associate the visual or the hearings, the touching sense with an emotion. Okay, this is very important. It's just, if you just see images, you're not going to memorize them. You need to incorporate an emotion or smell, or there's a stimuli you have to add. Some stimuli you have to add. So let's say I'm looking at a flower. Let's say it's a rose. I need to smell. I need to have the image and the smell. You may not, if you have the object in front of you, it's a rose, may not work as best, So you've got to incorporate two elements, an image on the touching aspect, on the hearing, with an emotion, okay, or a smell as well. You can incorporate two senses together, but they have to be different, okay? So the very best, to give you an example, is if you're in a bar and they all order something and you're like, oh, what is this drink? And you're trying to repeat the word, but you can't. It's like, they're gonna all laugh. So you're gonna make a fool of yourself. You're gonna maybe be embarrassed, but it's good, because this action, this situation is gonna make you memorize what happened, and you're gonna remember, certain things. You're gonna pay attention. Your mind's gonna be more alert to certain things. Some people may just block themselves and be like, how dare you making fun of me? Well, too bad for them. You know, too bad for them, and they're gonna just feel like, well, learning a language is not for me. Well, because you have a big ego. Okay, so just get rid of your ego, and you can be more open-minded to different worlds and learn different things and be accepting more stuff. I don't know what is this book. This is like French lesson, but I think it's like a novel. It's a book. It's not a textbook. But anyway, so I just wanted to tell you that, you know, how to learn a language. Well, you also have like Duolingo. This is good, you know. But again, you know, people, they are comfortable hiding behind a screen. But when it comes down to talk to people, when they have to start conversing, communicating, interacting with other people, they don't have the practice, they don't have the experience. Okay, so when you take French lessons, you've got to interact. It's important, even if they don't understand. Some French can just be like, well, forget it, just speak English. No, just show them, non, 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 je veux parler en français, je veux parler français, s'il vous plaît. Okay, you insist. Okay, if you take no as for an answer, you're gonna just be in trouble. Life is not like that. You have to push some boundaries. So anyway, that's just my advice, my 2-cent advice for today. You all have a nice day, and I'll talk to you soon with a new lesson, come an English lesson or French lesson or Italian or Spanish or German, whatever. I don't have a lot of stuff about German and Italian and Spanish here, but I may have to maybe to create a new channel or incorporate them here. I have no idea. Let's see. Have a nice day. Bonne journée. À bientôt.